Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinetsky. Joining us, as always, for our weekly recap and all things supplements is Mr. Supplement Snoop himself, Justin Hall. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. And as usual, the supplement industry is the gift that keeps on giving, man.
This week was particularly plentiful in the shitstorm that it was put forth our way. So why don't you let's address the elephant in the room with the ABH scandal. Do we want to say Supplement Gate 2020? Do we want to call it that?
Yeah, it's been I've been somewhat quiet about the whole thing just because it's such a bizarre, when you have certain knowledge that like you and I have about certain brands that are involved here, it gives you a certain perspective when stuff like this happens. And, this is an opportunity. I've seen a lot of virtue signaling from brands and people that, have immediately said, okay, and don't get me wrong, this is a horrendous, fucked up situation. This manufacturer is the epitome of a piece of shit. Right. And this is why we talk about, it's not like when we talk about education, like I know in the Supplement Snoop group, like we have manufacturers, we have brands, we have retailers, we have consumers. Everyone sort of can use some more education, including brands, even the brands that know their stuff, that go the extra mile. It's like we can always, learn more, talk more. Can we help each other out to avoid situations like this? And It's been a rush to do what the internet does, and so I can give a couple of perspectives, and hopefully they're okay with me saying this. We haven't even really discussed it, but so there's two brands that I am very, very close with that were on this list. One was Azit, Pradee's brand, so Pradee's my business partner at Supplement Snoop, but I had absolutely nothing to do with Azit. No one's ever accused me of it in any way, but I have nothing to do with what he does over there. It was actually a big thing with him when we decided to partner up. He's like, man, he's not even really like comfortable with me talking about it because he doesn't want there to be any sort of, he does his thing with that. Right. I do sort of, but I can personally vouch for the fact that that guy spends more of his own money than anybody else that I know to get his products third-party tested because he doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
He's always, because he's gone through several manufacturers like in his time, and he's like, I always want to know if I'm getting screwed over, and so his third-party tests with Azit have always come back good. And he doesn't manufacture with them more anyway. I think that's what some people don't realize. This was a big blanket. Here's everybody that has done his. Some people on that list I know haven't even actually manufactured with them. A lot of companies, what they do is that people would be interested in knowing. You go to different manufacturers, you might open a PO. Just in case, like, I don't know, if one of your products isn't able to run, you might have to go to another manufacturer. So it's sort of a shell game, with the industry. And some of these people never even manufactured with ABH, and they still end up on the list. So, yes, like I said, it's horrible, but I can offer some perspective about Pradee. I know he does third-party tests. I've seen the test results that he shares them with us consistently. And then Mark over at Iron Brothers, Mark makes one of his products is made there, was made there. He makes his entire line elsewhere, and then his testosterone booster was made there. And we know Mark, man. Mark is the most honest, hardworking dude you're ever going to come across. Like,
granted, he's Canadian. I mean, we'll let that slip.
He's Canadian. Him and Moody are Canadian, but we love him anyway.
Yeah.
But he just, I know, and it's me speaking from personal perspective, but I know that guy loses sleep at night worrying about how his customers, not about the money coming in, but about how his customers perceive his brand and about how he comes across, and do people really like, he always wants to give people the most. So, when I see brands on there like that, obviously I'm coming from a little bit different perspective, but it just sucks, man. You realize how good people that are doing things as good as they can possibly do can still sort of get swept up in this whole thing. So I immediately had sort of a different. That's why I was like, there's some really high quality people on that list.
Yeah.
And we were talking to other people that we know, and I just sort of letting it play out because, like I said, we found out about this a few months back when it actually went down. So it's just crazy, man. It's just another huge slap in the face to the industry. And I also, we were talking about the virtue signaling thing. There's a lot of brands and people that are using this as an opportunity. And man, I'm thinking to myself, some of these people, I know where they manufacture, and I'm like, holy shit, like maybe, like if the FDA rated your manufacturer, are you 100% sure, that you're not going to see the same thing? So
right. And that's one big thing I want to drive home to the listeners is that amidst all the media coverage that surrounded this, the articles that have been written about it, the Facebook posts and social media posts, by people patting themselves on the back or castigating others and doing all the finger pointing, all that, what's lost in this giant list of the 859 companies is that just because that company is on that list doesn't mean that they are actively or currently being manufactured by ABH. A lot of the brands on there had one batch of a single product manufactured, 4, 5, 6 years ago, but because it was done at one point, maybe that brand realized that, hey, these people at ABH were doing some sketchy, shady shit, or, they were having these various certs pulled and all of that. They weren't meeting spec. They went and hence moved to a different manufacturing facility, but nobody's mentioning that, or at least what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm not looking at the right things, but I know damn well that some of the companies that are on that list haven't been manufactured by ABH for several years, and they're off with much better quality manufacturers. Ghost was one of them that we talked about, and several of the other ones. It's just, I think that needs to be driven home and, emphasized to the consumers a little bit more to put them at ease. Because a lot of the things that's saying, the immediate press release was saying, well, these products need to be immediately recalled. If something was manufactured 5 or 6 years ago, there's no fucking way it's on the shelf anymore for the consumer to go and buy. What do you expect the brands to do? Recall it? That's not going to do anything. I mean, obviously, they probably need to each brand probably needs to, I guess, maybe say, hey, if we were on this list, we were manufactured, this product was manufactured XYZ times back in, 2012, 2014, 2016, whenever, and we are no longer there. We have moved on to somewhere else. I think that would be a good thing that each brand could be proactive on that, but I don't think we need to do all this finger pointing or self-patting on the back that we've never done anything like this and trying to shit talk other people. I don't think that betters the industry at all.
No, I think we should use it as a lesson because the competition in it is so stiff. So I get why the desire to maybe put yourself out there, but I think it's a way that we can just sort of look and go, damn, like there really needs to just be a better job, like all the way around. Like I agree with you. I saw some retailers, man, that they were like, oh, well, we don't carry any of these brands that are on the list. I'm like, you carry fucking SARMs, like
yeah.
What I mean, so you're on the soapbox now. I'm like, okay.
And then let's drive home another point. So just because you maybe manufacture your own stuff doesn't mean that you are inherently a better company than another brand that uses a quality contract manufacturer. So Insane Labs has their own manufacturing facility. Their products are shit. High Tech manufactures their brand and a bunch of other products. A lot of their products are blended pieces of crap too. Some of NutraKey supplements are good. Some of their stuff, I'm not overly wowed by the formula. They do a lot of their own manufacturing. So it's just because you have your own manufacturing facility doesn't always guarantee you make quality products or have, well-dosed formulas.
That's true. So, yeah, it feels like to me, and I think this is just a sort of a societal thing in general, is something like this happens, or we see something, and everyone gets the pitchforks up, but we don't, and then we just move on to the next, by next week there's going to be another huge
there'll be a SARMs raid or something going on.
Right. So we forget about it, everyone loses their shit about it, and then we move on to something else, and we don't ever stop and go, what can we do? What are the people, like, we talk about NutraBio's quality and like some of these, what can we do here to fix that? Like, where this stuff doesn't happen in the future. I think we sit around and everybody likes to write their articles and they get their clicks and make some controversy, and which that's fine, but if you're not actively trying to help out the situation, trying to find a solution for this, then you're not doing shit. You're wasting everybody's time, in my opinion. It's like, I always try, whenever we complain about certain things, I'm like, complain about them and maybe say some controversial things is a waste of time. If you're not trying to find a solution for something, then you're really not helping. So we don't ever want to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a shitty situation, man. A lot of good people got affected by it. But, same time, when you get into the supplement industry, you should be aware that this stuff does happen. So,
correct.
I do feel for some of the companies, I feel for all, I don't want to say all, but feel for a lot of them that are on that list. But at the same time, that this is kind of part of the deal.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of one of those things.
Yeah, I would say if you're a consumer and you're concerned about where your stuff's getting made, always reach out to the brand. Be proactive. Don't just trust the brand. Always be proactive and email them. Say, hey, can you send me any lab reports that you have or where you're getting your stuff manufactured? And then you can go and look up that manufacturer and see how they're, what is their track record within the industry? Do they have any, strikes against them from the FDA or other infractions like that? Be more proactive on your end. Don't always rely on the industry to have your best interests at heart, because they don't. The vast majority of people do not. The only advocate for you is going to be yourself and people like me and Supplement Snoop that tell you to try and get your shit together.
Amen, brother. And I also did see there's been some conversations online that I've seen, and I really don't like reading Facebook because it's a shit show and people just talk too much. But consumers these days want to know where their stuff is manufactured. People have been asking, and there's some people, I've seen some conversations and people are like, well, it's none of their fucking business. Like, literally, like, that's what they said. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, what? So they're not allowed to ask. You're going to bully a consumer into thinking that they're not allowed to ask where these products that go on their body come from. I was like, that's an interesting stance. So I think this is a good example of why that's probably not a great line of thinking either.
Yeah. So let's move on to some happy stuff now that we've got our ranting out of the way. And if I'm extra wordy today, I'm sipping on some overtime mixed with bare knuckle right now. So I might be super wordy.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you take the floor then.
I was gonna say, what's new for your supplement haul this week?
Before we talk about that, what I noticed, bare knuckle, you could basically, it's so gummy, I could eat it.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Like the clumps equal pumps thing.
Yep.
There's that one and the Arms Race Nutrition Daily Pump that I love them both. Mm-hmm. But you could literally like just put your hand in there and pull out a chunk and just eat it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so clumpy and gummy, but I love that product.
Yeah, and I busted open the capsules of Overtime and mixed it in. So I did 3 of the 6 capsules, so it's a half serving, and so it's I'm sipping on that because I've got my workout. I'm shifted my workout to later in the day since we're recording this a little bit earlier than we typically do on Thursdays. So if I start ranting and raving or shouting obscenities endlessly, then blame it on Overtime.
Well, let's get that rolling because that's what I want to hear. I know last week, like when we did this, I had a huge haul of stuff. I think, what did I get this week? I got Loaded AF. Uh-huh. It's from Dynamic Evolution.
Yeah.
They did a collaboration with Bullfrog Nutrition, who we might go up there. They're in Columbus.
Yeah, have Paul on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul's awesome, and they did. We're gonna try to get there because are you going there that Thursday night to their little event?
I don't know. I got to talk to Paul and see if I'm invited.
Well, they posted about it on Instagram. They're doing like that Thursday night. They're doing an event from like 5 till 8.
Yeah. Is that the one that it's like that giant workout or block party that Mountain Dog and a few other people were at last year? That this is the big blowout that they always do at the Arnold?
I have no idea.
Okay, I know they do something, and John Meadows is there because he's a Columbite. He's in that area every year, and I think Gorilla Chemist may have been there last year as well as, and Mike Rashid maybe too. I think that. I don't know if Lobliner was, but yeah, there's a collective of noteworthy meatheads there.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna try to get there. We're driving in that day. Okay. So they did a collaboration with Dynamic Evolution. It's basically the formula is a little bit different than the original Loaded AF. It's a base 06. It's very like straightforward formula. dude, I it's so intense, the pumps. It's kind of another one of these formulas where I'm like, man, I expected it to be really good, but it's significantly stronger than I expected.
Do you have the tub by you? Because the one I pulled up on the website, it's got 6 grams of citrulline, a gram of agnatine, 600 of beetroot, and 300 of Vaso-6.
Yeah, so that is the regular version. So this bullfrog one, it's a. Let's see, let me get the camera here. So it's this. It's like green.
Okay.
So it's a candy apple flavor, which is actually really good. So 6 grams of citrulline, 2.5 creatine monohydrate, 2.5 betaine, 1 gram agnatine, 600 taurine, and 300 Vaso-6. So, right. You know, not that that's a bad thing, but I've seen stuff like this before. It was painful yesterday. I used this yesterday, and it was honestly, that was one of the most intense pumps I've had. And I don't even know. Like, I hate to be like hyperbolic about things like that, but it was crazy. My triceps, I was in pain.
It was a push day, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it was push day. I did some chest and some shoulders, and then I was doing a little bit of triceps at the end, and I couldn't even fully, go through a rep because it was painful. I was like, this is awesome.
Nice. How many sets do you usually do in a workout? How many working sets, not counting your warm-ups?
Probably like 20. Probably, I would say about 20. Depends how I'm feeling with that. I would say on average, probably a little bit more. I do quite a bit of volume.
Okay, I was gonna say there's been this huge debate within the muscle building community, volume versus intensity. It's back and forth, and I think you and I have touched on it in a while. But how do you, I guess, handle your own programming when you go about it? Do you focus more on pushing each set to the limit, or doing a mix of taking it really close to failure, or trying to cram in a bunch of volume? How do you approach it?
Yeah, I kind of do it day by day, man. I like to go to the gym a lot. Mm-hmm. I like to go there almost every day.
Yeah.
So you just have to sort of, curtail your routine to fit whatever's going on. I always want to make sure that I can get there and get my stuff done depending on what's going on in life. Mm-hmm. You never want to have one thing that I'm doing, and then if a curveball gets thrown, then I'm like, well, I don't know what to do.
Right.
It's almost a day-to-day thing, because sometimes, you get there, and if I feel good and I feel strong, then I'm going to push it as hard as I can, because I know, like, the next day might not be the same thing.
Right.
And as long as my recovery is taken care of, I've been a lot more aggressive with that. I think this whole thing is just much ado about nothing.
Yeah.
When it comes to certain things, I don't think most people work out hard enough to begin with to really get to these when studies come out and people do this and that, there's a lot of people who never get to that point that it matters.
Right.
I mean, you like, people are always asking me, what should I do if I'm overtraining? I'm like, I guarantee you, you're not overtraining. I don't know you, but I guarantee you're not fucking overtraining.
Right.
Because if you overtrain, you can't do anything. Like, you're dead. And it's like, so people are like, oh, I don't know, like, I'm a little bit sore, like, my overtraining. It's like, man.
Hey, you might be under recovering or just have shitty nutrition or shitty sleep, but I doubt you're pushing yourself to the limits that elite level athletes do, and they're the ones that are most at risk for overtraining, not the person that's just going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week at most.
I'm like, sometimes you're just being a little bitch, because you see, like, all this, like, people ask me about, like, the gear that comes out and the accessories, and people want to wear this. Under Armour has this, stuff that you wear, and it increases your blood flow, and it does all this stuff for recovery. And the 99% always want to buy the stuff that's only for the 1%.
Yep.
Because they want to emulate, and they think, and it's like, you're not working hard enough to see any sort of benefits. It comes that way with supplements too. We've had that conversation a lot. It's like, do you really need that supplement? Are you working hard enough? Do you really need that supplement?
Yeah.
Most people aren't.
I would agree on that. Also, wait, one other thing about the loaded AF, doesn't steel supplements use. I'm surprised that there's not a naming issue right there because don't they put AF on all of their supplements?
Yeah, so they both do because Dynamic has Savage AF, Stacked AF, Loaded AF. Steel has Shredded AF, Focused AF, and I don't know. I don't know where Dynamic manufacturers. I don't know if they manufacture at High Tech or anything. I doubt it. But yeah, it's always interesting. Someone asked me the other day. They said, "What do you think about the Alpha Shred pre-workout?" There's like 37 Alpha Shred pre-workouts. So it's just kind of funny.
I don't know if I've even heard of Alpha Shred pre-workout, but
there's like all these variations. It's like at this point, what are we going to call stuff? And that was to go back to the ABH thing. The people asked me, they're like, Justin, what do you think about this ABH thing? I said, well, my first reaction is there's way too many supplement companies.
Yeah,
because there was 860 at one manufacturer. There was like 10 doctor brands.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor this, doctor that. Doctor
yeah,
that.
I saw that.
One manufacturer. I'm like, okay. I was like, we have too many. I was like, we needed a good Thanos snap to the industry. So it might ultimately be a good thing for the long-term health, although it sucks. Right, obviously, at the time.
Right, and I wonder if last thing I'll say on the ABH, I wonder if any of these brands are even, a majority of these are, if they're even still on the market, or have they just all gone by the wayside?
Most I didn't recognize. I mean, there were so many.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few, names that everybody knows which names are on there. The ones that are still within the industry. We've mentioned a couple of them. But I would say that, a lot of these probably don't even exist anymore.
Well, you figure, too, like, if, say if you're an Amazon type brand and you're manufactured with ABH, a lot of these brands, right, won't be able to survive this because you're so thin on your operation sometimes. People start brands with little to no capital, and that's kind of one of the draws of it. But if something goes wrong like this, you just can't withstand it because, say you're on Amazon and your listing and reviews and stuff like that, your ranking is everything. So if this happens and all of a sudden you find out you're not going to be able to get your product from ABH, so now your Amazon account runs out of product.
Yeah.
Then in the meantime, you have to go find another manufacturer. Who knows how long that's going to take to get product run there.
Correct.
By that time, you've already been steamrolled by the competition on Amazon.
Yep.
And you might never recover from that. So it's kind of crazy. People don't think about stuff like that. But you see it and you're like, damn. Like it's a lot more than just having your reputation tarnished with this whole thing. It's I know people, they were waiting for products, and now they never show up, and the people take the money that you already paid them to run the products. So then you're out that money,
right?
And then you're out product, and you're out profit.
Correct.
So what are you going to do? You're going to sue them for your lost profits? Like they're going to pay you?
Yeah.
Hopefully you have insurance, which not everybody does.
Mm-hmm. If you were, I know you said you've never had any aspirations to own a brand, but put your brand owner cap on for a second. If you were a brand owner, would you have all of your stuff manufactured at a single contract manufacturing facility, or would you kind of sprinkle them across a few different manufacturers? Like, you might have your pre-workout at one, your Aminos at one, your protein at another, just to prevent any kind of shortfall, so that you've got 3 manufacturers that you vetted. In the instance one of them gets backlogged or they get raided or whatever the hell happens, they have a shutdown for whatever reason, contamination, you can easily just pull that product, and so you've already got a backup manufacturer ready. I wonder if that's a smarter way to go about it or not.
So because we've had these conversations, I've had this conversation with brands. It's like, if I found someone that I trusted within this industry, I would want to be exclusive with that person.
Yeah.
But it seems like I don't want to say it's impossible, but for most brands, if you're not running massive amounts, like if you don't have much leverage as a small brand.
Correct.
Right? So what are you ultimately going to do? And then if the manufacturer can't make your product in time, you have to find someone that can.
Right.
So I think that's why, you see, and then you have some manufactured protein some don't, right? So maybe you have to have your pre-workout here, your protein here, and most people I know have at least relationships with several manufacturers where, like I said, sometimes it can be like a little bit of a shell game because people are so much crazy stuff happens and there's some things you can't handle because this is part of our conversation with the consulting program, trying to best avoid things like that. What can you do as a company to protect yourself from the inevitable, which is a delay, a holiday that you're not aware of. For like we had a manufacturer we trust the other day was like, hey, by the way, February is Chinese New Year.
It is.
They don't like there'll be a few days where no raws are going to be moving around because they take off. So it's like if you're a small brand, you don't have a very reliable, how you're selling and things like that. All of a sudden, one day you get like a bunch of orders. You're like, oh shit, I'm going to run out.
Yeah.
You try to contact them. They can't get the raws from China during this time. So it's like a lot of these things that you never think about until the problem actually happens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we try to do is we've been there, and you see the problems happen. You've sort of gone through it. So you're like, okay, how can I help you not go through it? But sometimes, it's inevitable. So I think I would really, my personality, I would want to work with one, but I don't know how realistic that ultimately is. So yeah. I would pay more. Me personally, I would pay more to be able to trust, especially when you see stuff like this. I just know too much. I know too much stuff about what goes on that I'll pay extra for someone that I really trust.
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point. All right, shall we work our way down through the? I've not been encouraged by the front page of Stack today. It's a lot of aminos and functional foods and energy drinks.
I see a lot of bars.
Yeah, I know we've talked about the Outright bar a lot. They're now getting a vegan-friendly one because it's sunflower seed butter and it's not going to have honey in it. It'll have some other kind of sweetener. I don't know if that's going to get you to blow your skirt up or not.
It's cool that they're doing it. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear the direction that they're going, and I wholeheartely, man, if I'm Mark Lobliner, I am riding this Outright thing right into retirement.
Oh, he's a very savvy individual from a marketing standpoint. He knows how to sell the shit out of something. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this trend keeps going because Outright they're releasing a new flavor, a new iteration of it. It seems monthly now. They're matching Bang month for month on terms of like new flavors or new iterations of the product.
I love it. I don't know Mark personally, but we've chatted sort of here and there, and I love it, man. If you see, when you see stuff like Quest get sold for $1 billion,
yeah.
If I'm a supplement company owner and things like that, I'm gonna look and say $1 billion.
Yeah.
Maybe let's. So I'm all for it because not only that, but it's a really good product. It's not something that I particularly really get crazy about, but man, I know people that do, and there's nothing false about it. There's nothing. It's a good option for a lot of people, and I think what he's doing is awesome. I don't know him, but I'm excited for him. I hope that it continues to grow for him, and I hope that he can get out of this crazy industry if that's his goal, and just spend time with his family. I know that he's he's a big family guy, so I hope it works out for him. I hope he sells it for a shit ton of money and rides off into the sunset.
That works. The just above that, biotech shares its muscle builder cell swell. This is a hunk of garbage.
Yeah, I saw this because one of our friends is helping them with their marketing.
Yeah.
So I started following along with what they're doing, and I saw some products that they had, and I was like, okay. And then I saw this one, and I was like, oh,
this doesn't leave me feeling really good. You get 2 grams of creatine hydrochloride, 1 gram of glutamine, 50 milligrams of arachidonic acid, 10%, which you usually need like 500 milligrams to a gram of it, is what the research says. So that's a tenth of what you actually need at most. Maybe it's 5% of what you need, and then 10 milligrams of bioperine.
It does say that it is $29.99 for 30 servings. But yeah, I'm with you. It's a creatine product.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. That's not a good one.
Yeah. I don't. I don't. I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know what the goal is. I guess I kind of like the label, the little design that they have on there.
Yeah.
Because I when I initially saw them, I was like, okay, I like it. And I think the pre-workout, I feel like it's a prop blend, but I thought the ingredients were pretty solid. But yeah, this is a product that I just, I mean, if this is how you want to get your creatine, then I suppose it's up to you. It would be, I would say, if I was going to have a creatine product and I wanted to put something in there for absorption, I don't know if bioperine is what I would go with. I think estrogen, being that estrogen's proven with creatine, I think that would have been probably my choice. But
correct. Yeah. I think a lot of people still aren't sure about estrogen. The bioperine has been around a lot longer, and so people are used to seeing that. So that's possible. I know you're not a super huge energy drink guy, and I know you like the America Labs one. Have you ever tried Raise Energy at all?
Yeah, I tried them a couple times. We were at Natural Body Inc. and Natural Body Inc. let me taste test quite a few of them, and I just wasn't. They have a lot of flavors though, so I don't know if I just coincidentally got some of the worst ones, but I just was not impressed.
Yeah, they've got several at the grocery store here by us. That's the ones that are mostly stocked. It's Rain, the C4 Energy, Adrenaline Shock, Bang, and Raise are the major ones that we see there. And a Monster too, but those. I haven't seen America Labs yet, which I kind of wish they would. I just can't bring myself to walk into a GNC to go get some.
No, I get it. Yeah, energy drinks to me, like I said, they're all pretty much. I don't want to say they're pretty much the same. They're mostly the same. Some little tweaks. So, like I said, I really like the America Labs flavors, but more importantly, I vote with my wallet kind of thing, and I support the core people and what they're doing. So that's why I buy them. I don't know any of these other people. Maybe they are great people, and I'm not saying they're not, but that's why I prefer. Plus, I think America, they have the cream soda one. That's my favorite. That's my favorite energy drink flavor that I've ever had. So it's a win-win for me. I don't. Good company, good product.
Yeah.
Why not? So.
Go for it. I'm now going down the second page of Stacked. I know we've talked about Chaos Crew. They've got an EAA/pump product coming out where you get 6 grams of BCAAs, 2 grams of EAAs, some coconut water, plus a gram of taurine, 300 milligrams of vasodrive AP, which is, that's a decent dose. That's better. We usually see 254. So that's good. That's above the average. And then we get 50 milligrams of S7.
So I will say this. Every time I see this Chaos Crew, I think they have some really cool stuff. I don't know, is this... because they're talking about, it's for recovery, but then pump. So,
yeah, divergent messaging.
But at the same time, I do like anything for blood flow, and I think so. I guess that's, I don't know. Would you use this pre-workout? Since the pumps, especially vasodrive, I think is a great pump ingredient.
Yeah.
So if you use this pre-workout, and maybe, I don't know, continue to drink it through your workout, like as a pre-intra kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see that, or if you're like an athlete that does like a day-long competition, or if you're, do a lot of intramural soccer stuff and you've got multiple matches in a day, I could see sipping on this in between matches or like during the timeouts or something just to keep everything going well, along with some carbs. Obviously, you're going to definitely be relying more on carbohydrates than 8 grams of amino acids. But that's another way to spin it. And you and I tend to put things in terms of just going for that hour to 2 hour workout at the gym, but that's a fraction of the population that buys supplements. Now it's a lot for the people that we're talking to, but a lot of other people go and play sports on the weekends or have other kind of intramural type things to go do, or muck runs and all that good stuff.
Well, the only reason I'm not even saying like that this is a bad thing in any way, shape, or form, but what I see, and we actually just had this conversation, and a conversation I have, Brady and I have with a lot of brands, and you have with a lot of brands, when they're making a formula, they get creative and do cool things, and how you gonna make an amino acid product cool, right? Something like this is cool,
right?
But ultimately, does it make any sense for your target group of customers? I guess.
Correct.
And we've seen a little bit of that. We've had some discussions like that's what we try to, when we're helping people with formulas. It's not necessarily like, oh, I can help you with the best dosages of the biggest ingredients. It's like, who's your customer? Who's this supposed to help? And will that connect sort of with them?
Right.
Because you see a lot of products that are really cool, but people kind of go, well, I don't get it. And, people aren't going to buy it then. So, I don't know. I like it. I like what they're doing. I think those are good ingredients. Taurine's great for cell hydration.
Yep.
Vasodrive is a great ingredient. So, I like it. And I think that they have a good brand over there. I've only used their pre-workout. Somebody sent me a couple of samples once, and it was very impressive. It was very high stem, very happy kind of energy. And so,
yeah,
you know what they're doing. We'll see.
Very cool. Yeah, man, this is slim pickings on the. I'm on the third page of Stacked, and 90% of the products are all functional foods or energy drinks.
Well, let's talk about this. So this company actually just reached out to me yesterday. This, Pharma Freak. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
Is it Rip Freak that they asked me about? I can't remember if this is the product. I would have to go back and check my email to see exactly what product. Because they asked me if I wanted to try some of their stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been around for a long time,
mm-hmm.
and I think it seems to me like maybe they're trying to sort of not rebrand, but because the supplement industry is changing and what people want, stuff like that. So it feels like they're adjusting their products a little bit. So they reached out to me. I have not really seen what they got going on. Looks like it's a Canadian brand.
I think so. Yeah, they're a Canadian brand. Because when you click their website at the bottom, it says if you're shopping from the U.S., click our U.S. only site.
So I'm looking. The first thing I did, I always it says it's sold out because I'm like, well, you can tell a lot about a company by their pre-workout. Right?
Yeah.
So their pre-workout at 20 servings, we have betaine, Siberian ginseng at 800 milligrams.
Are you looking at the Super Freak? Is that the pre-workout you're looking at?
Yeah, 2.5 grams of tyrosine. So it says in their fact sheet as you're reading it, it gives the dosages at 1 full scoop, which would be 20 servings. But on the medicinal ingredients, it shows it at half scoop. So looking at it, that's a lot. They use a lot of ginseng, astaxanthin. Kind of interesting. Wait, so in 1 scoop there'd be 500 milligrams of caffeine?
Yes.
Boy, okay.
Yeah, you'd have 500 milligrams of caffeine. You get 300 milligrams of dendrobium, which that's just for marketing. Dendrobium doesn't really do shit. 250 of agmatine, 4 milligrams of astaxanthin, 2.5 milligrams of Asian ginseng. and 2.5 milligrams of astragalus. So I'm guessing that's their estrogen riff.
So I'm confused because this says in their paragraph up here, oh, the Hong Jing, okay, that's rhodiola. Okay.
Yeah.
2.5 grams of tyrosine and 500 caffeine and a lot of ginseng. I mean, I would guess that would feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's high energy. It doesn't give you much else though.
Yeah, betaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I probably would stack.
Yeah, you need to put a pump product with it or something. And they sell bulk citrulline malate.
They have a lot of. I feel like, I remember putting products of theirs into the app when I first started doing the research, and they had a lot of different variations. So they've been around for like 10 years.
Yeah,
so,
and I'm looking at their keto pre-workout, and it's. Right. I mean, anytime a company does that, it knocks them down a rung in my book already. If you're going to start going for that low-hanging fruit, so we got 2 grams of BHB salts, 1.5 grams of tyrosine, 750 of beta-alanine, 500 of L-carnitine L-tartrate, 350 of caffeine. They love their caffeine. 50 milligrams of Asian ginseng, 10 milligrams of olive leaf, and then some B vitamins. So I'm assuming this is ketogenic because of 2 grams of BHB salts.
Mm-hmm. We know how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Galaxian people said. They're like, obviously, this is not. It wouldn't. Their what's that hybrid product that they have?
Yeah. It's got a keto carb product. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm drinking some right now. They were like, because I think you and I were like, okay, I'm not a keto expert, but this isn't keto, right? And they were like, no, like it's not keto because there's carbohydrates in it and stuff like that. But
right.
BHB their goal was to give sort of that different energy feeling. Which I think is cool. So I don't know, man. I think anytime I like to see companies going sort of old school and using ginseng, stuff like that. I think ginseng got popular, and then we started seeing it just pixie dusted and everything like that.
Yeah.
And, it sort of fell out of favor unless you were just kind of a shitty company. But I kind of like to see. I've always liked it. I've always liked good dosages of ginseng. I think it's underrated, especially in higher dosages, of what it can do for you energy-wise without being a heavy stim, just from what I've seen.
Yeah, and I know it's popular in some of the better-known energy drinks as well. And it's been a staple. That was one thing during the podcast I recorded yesterday with Moody. We were talking about some of the older nootropics he used to like, something like 5-10 years ago was glucuronolactone, which is another kind of energy drink staple ingredient that you see in there. But we never see it in high dosages. I think he said he was using upwards of 2 grams when he was dosing it, and he said you get some enhanced euphoria and mood from it, where typically we see it in a pre-workout, if it's even used these days, is like 500 to 800 maybe.
In an energy drink, it's probably 10 milligrams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, but that's one. That might be a bulk ingredient I might go back and try, because I haven't tried that on its own, or ginseng. I haven't done much with ginseng either.
Yeah, I think one product that I noticed utilized ginseng lately that I really liked was the kid that you had on, Robert, CNS.
Yeah, from CNS supplements. Yep.
I think his pre-workout's great. And part of it, I think, was just a good sort of energy you get from uses a lower caffeine, uses some ginseng and stuff like that. And I think it was a really good combination. So anyway, I'll let you know how that goes. Like I said, they reached out to me. Actually, I had a couple of companies reach out to me today to send over some stuff. So I'm going to need a bigger house. I'm running out of room.
Well, the app's doing well. I mean, and your wife's career is booming, so it's time to upgrade, man.
Right? Yeah, because that's the thing, man, is basically what we do, I could fit myself into sort of like a 5x5 box.
Yeah.
And so I don't need much, but fortunately I have my wife for that. She's
fills out the rest.
She's actually incredibly low maintenance, but she likes to look and talk about Because I'm like, man, every time she looks online and we have a conversation, I'm like, Brady, we need some more clients here. So,
Well, hey, there's a 2-story house down the street from me that's up for sale. So if you want to move down
really?
to Texas, we could be neighbors. You could come over and watch every LSU football game with me on Saturdays next football season.
So if you want to talk about football, we can talk about football. Because, I had already said, okay, I stopped watching Miami this year in the first half of the FIU game.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, that's enough. I'm done with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to go and mess around this offseason. And they are now the back-to-back national champions of the offseason.
Oh, well, that's good. That's something.
Which is, hey, man, we're going to start there. Because last year we had probably the Tate Martell kid transferred, one defensive end that transferred last year, Trevon Hill.
Yeah.
They had a lot of huge, and there's another kid that transferred last year. He was the number 1 recruit in the country a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get to play this year. So they had a great offseason last year.
Yeah.
And sucked on the field, but now we're having another great offseason. They have a new offensive coordinator, finally bringing a spread offense to Miami, which should have happened probably 15 years ago.
I feel you on that, man. LSU was it took us forever. I mean, look what happens when we finally did. So
yeah. Well, and the thing is so if you go to Florida, all the high school offenses there are spread, spread run options. There's a lot of really good running backs in Florida, and it's like you're sitting there going, your whole backyard is full of this offense. No one is going to come play quarterback for you.
Yeah.
In the offense that you run. So they got that guy who's offensive coordinator from SMU, and they had a really significant offensive season last year. And then they just got that transfer from a quarterback from Houston, who he sat out last year. Like, he started to play, but then he sat out because he was going to redshirt. But the year before, he's good. He's a good quarterback. Yeah. I'm like, shit. And we have the most embarrassing schedule you'll ever see in your life this year. So, as much as I would love to watch all the LSU games, I'm going to have to watch Miami this year.
Y'all might have a chance, man, if dethroning Clemson in the ACC. You never know.
No.
You never know.
What we'll do is hopefully we can win our division and then go to face Clemson and lose like 42-0.
We'll see. Our staff has been poached, as you would expect. Anytime a team has, really good success, a bunch of their assistant coaches. So we've lost our defensive coordinator. Dave Aranda is now the head coach at Baylor, because the head coach at Baylor is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And his first choice for a hire at Carolina was poaching our passing coordinator, Joe Brady, who's now the offensive coordinator at the Panthers. We've also lost the guy that we were going to promote to be the new Joe Brady role at LSU. He's now gone to join Aranda as well as the OC over there too. So it's
that's what happens.
Yeah.
I know, like, when you look back at the early 2000, Miami teams that were really great. If you look at their coaching staff, all like their assistant coaches ultimately were head coaches in the NFL.
Right.
So they're like, holy cow! And then the same kind of thing when you look at what Coach O has done. Man, he hired some. He's got an eye for talent when it comes to coaches.
He does, and it'll be the mark because this has happened to Saban every year at Bama. They win a national title every other year or something like that. It seems, and he's got to replenish his staff, and he's been able to do that and maintain a high level at that program for over a decade or near a decade now. So that'll be the mark if O can actually replenish his bullpen and see if they can maintain what they were able to achieve this year. Do I think next season will be as prolific as this year? Not a chance. It's few and far between that you can repeat those kind of performances.
Only because no one's ever been that prolific ever in the history of college football. That's probably a good. That's good going out on a limb. We might not be as good as the greatest offense I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah.
No, but I hear you. It's kind of the double-edged sword of college. And just in general, I had this conversation with someone today. I was like, that's what we do sort of in this country, especially when it comes to sports and coaches. Mm-hmm. You promote someone until they suck. Right. And then they go back.
Yeah.
So it's like no one ever sticks in their role really that they're really good at. They excel because if you show a little bit of promise.
Yeah.
As
Promoted
an
up the
offensive
food chain.
coordinator, you're going right up the food chain until you're shit, and then you get knocked back down
Yeah.
to what you were doing originally. And so
then you got to rebuild again.
Yep. So you never know. But at least that's cool. You see guys go to the NFL from your staff.
Yeah. I'm looking at this MFIT Recoup post-workout formula.
So I was looking at, I was going to bring that up to you. I'm actually on that right now.
Yeah, I had heard some buzz. There was some buzz passed my way saying, you know, a lot of people are saying, hey, we should expect a lot of good things because this company was praised heavily over the past year, and I don't understand what is so giddy about this formula. So we've got 3.5 grams of leucine, 2.5 grams of bovine peptides, 2 grams of velocitol, 2 grams of coconut water, 2 grams of betaine, 1.25 grams each of isoleucine and valine, and then 250 milligrams of hemp oil, full spectrum hemp oil powder. And that's going to yield 25 milligrams of phytocannabinoids per serving. Really, this is a glorified BCAA post-workout formula that's got a gram of immunoglobulin G in it.
So it was used as, so honestly, like I think MFIT's really, they make some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And when I saw this one, I was like, that's cool. And then the more I'm looking at it, I was kind of like, man, to be perfectly honest, and this is not a good thing or a bad thing or saying that they're doing something wrong, but I just kind of don't get it. And that's why it sort of helps when we talk to companies more and they can explain sort of what they're going for here, because I don't, like, to me, I was having this conversation with someone that's going to use this product or is using it, and we were talking about, well, what's your thoughts about hemp in the anti-inflammatory process, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I really like it for the anti-inflammation. I was like, well, then why would you use it post-workout? So, like, just curious, like, not like me going, oh, dumbass, it's anti-inflammatory. You can't use anti-inflammatories after post-workout. But I would just like to hear, because I think that they're a smart company. They have good resources behind them. So let's talk about something maybe that I'm not getting. But what I do like, I like this, say like a nighttime formula. I also was talking to the same person about velocitol.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I like velocitol, and this is just a random theory of mine. I was like, I like it at night.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, if it's been shown to work when you're in, say, like a lower protein setting, you know, maybe nighttime, depending on what you eat before bed, maybe that helps with your recovery throughout the night, you know, say when you're not ingesting protein. And then the hemp oil is, if it's calming, and if it is anti-inflammatory, which I don't know, I still just don't know enough about. I know what people tell me, but I've never experienced it, so I can't really say. So you have that at night. I like it in that setting too, as sort of calming recovery. Then you have the colostrum again, which to me, it's a great theory, and I like it, but there's just nothing for me yet. So it's just with this product here, I think it's unique, right? It's pretty cool. Like what they're doing. They're using a lot of like trademark forms and like good dosages and things like that. I just don't know really what to do. I would have to talk with them more to sort of get the whole picture.
If you're going to be using velocitol, I would want to see all the essential amino acids in there, because if the whole thing is to boost protein synthesis using a suboptimal amount of protein to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, you still need all those supporting amino acids to help you in there. So just supplementing with the 3 BCAAs isn't going to fully help you as much as it would putting in at least, you know, the rest of the other 6.
Wasn't one of the velocitol studies done with just leucine? I can't remember.
I would have to go back and look. It's been a while since I wrote that article on Velocitol. I don't remember off the top of my head.
So yeah, I think that's just how I feel about the product. I think it's very creative, very very cool. I think I just don't, and it kind of goes back to that same conversation we were having earlier about like sometimes when you release something, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's, okay, well, what was the goal here? So, but I think a lot of people will just see they'll concentrate on it for the hemp, and if that's why you're using it, what I do like is you're going to get a lot of other good things in here, where it'll attract the CBD crowd, the people that just go nuts for this stuff, and a lot of the CBD products are shit.
Yep.
Taking advantage of the fact that people are just going to run and grab it. So at least like with something like this, you're getting good solid dosages of some good ingredients too for the recovery things. So at least I know that a lot of these products in the same category are just rip-offs.
Yeah.
This I don't know how it's going to work for you, but it's not a rip-off. You know what I mean? It's fully heavily dosed, great ingredients. Like I say, good. What keeps me sort of on the fence about them, like in a good way, is I think that they know their stuff over there. Just in general, just from the limited talks I've had with them. And so I have a feeling that it would be an interesting explanation to hear what they're doing here and what their thought process was. I think it would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I think that's...
So there's this high gear fat burning pre-workout, which again, this is something that says fat burning, but I don't really understand how it's fat burning. You've got 6 grams of citrulline malate, 3.2 of beta-alanine, 2 grams of taurine, 1.5 of L-carnitine L-tartrate, 400 of caffeine, 1 gram of tyrosine, and 600 milligrams of alpha-GPC 50%. So are we going to say it's fat burning because it's got some carnitine in it? And
caffeine.
Yeah, it's these buzzwords that... man. I feel like every supplement shop needs a Walmart greeter at the front of it that says, "Don't fall for this stupid marketing shit. Don't fall for this stupid marketing shit. Don't fall for this stupid marketing shit."
The thing about it, and what kind of is frustrating about that is the formula is not bad. Like it's
no, it's a great formula, but
to say it's fat burning is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and the studies on LCLT have more to do with enhancing performance and recovery from exercise than anything to do with fat loss.
So anytime you put caffeine in a pre-workout, you could call it fat burning, because if it's going to let you do more work and burn more calories at the gym, technically, it doesn't mean you should say that.
Right.
I don't know, man. I think we got to find maybe one last thing, like good thing to talk about here, because it's pretty rough.
Yeah, this news week on Stack has not been the best for new releases, just because there's nothing but food and energy drinks. It seems there's 1 or 2 products, but by and large, it's a very underwhelming lineup of things coming out.
Well, maybe we should wrap it up, because this is...
You're on page 8 or 9 now. It's just getting bad.
This is awkward. All right. Well, what do you got? You got anything new down the pipeline?
Coming my way. I've got, Moody's pre-workout. I just got the delivery notification from the mail guy yesterday. Vandal pre-workout. That is waiting at the post office because apparently I had to sign for it. And I wasn't home when they came by yesterday, so I have to go and drive down to the post office now and hand them my little orange sticker and say, "Can you give me my box of goodies, please?" So I'm excited to try that. We did a deep dive on the formula yesterday, so everybody will be able to hear all the ins and outs of that. And we've got, Sandy and I are working on a couple of reviews here at the house. We're going to do Iron Brothers Prodigy Nootropic. We're going to be doing...
it was not made at ABH.
Right. We're going to do one for Apollon's Overtime. I got Primeval's Gray Matter here, which is their nootropic that's got some BHB salts in it as well. I haven't used that yet. I know I shit on BHB and keto products a lot. I do get some neuro, like a cognitive tickle or like a little brain boost that's similar to caffeine with BHB salts, and you and I have talked about that before. I'm curious to see how that pairs up. I'm just trying to figure out a good time to use this because I don't use a whole lot of stimulants during the day. I have like my one serving of pre-workout that I started at the beginning of this podcast, and it's that usually is all I need to get me through the rest of the day. So it's kind of figuring out what do I actually want to use in a day.
Yeah, because a lot of people will ask me the same thing. Like, that's one thing I forgot. I've been using Vandal. I got it a few days ago. I get different stimulant products to try out. And I'm like, I really don't like to go over my pre-workout allotment of caffeine in a day, or the next day I can't use anything, kind of thing. So I've discovered if I have a 300 or 400 milligram caffeine content, I can do that consistently, and I still get the same sort of effects and results. So once I start going too high over that, if I put 2 big stimulant products in one day, the next day I can't use anything because it's a waste of time.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. So some like when people send me fat burners and stuff, because a fat burner is not what I want to use pre-workout.
Exactly.
So, and then if I do take a day off, I don't want the heavy stimulants because that's the point of the day.
Correct.
So, but the Vandal pre-workout is really good, and you're going to enjoy it. It's I think it delivers exactly what it says it's going to deliver. I hate to use the term clean energy, because it's kind of a
play it out a little bit.
What does that mean, kind of thing, right? Everybody says that. It really is. It's just a good, clean. There's no Johan binds and stuff like that in there, but there's that energizing effect to it that doesn't knock you off your game at the gym. Pumps were great pumps from it. Big dose of pomegranate and stuff like that, I think helps. So maybe we'll get your thoughts on that next week.
Yeah, I'll go pick it up either later this afternoon or tomorrow after I do my morning bit of work, and we'll get after it, man, and we can go over it.
Good deal, man, because you probably got all four flavors, and so you'll need different days to sort of try those out. What I tried to do is do like half scoop of one, half scoop of another for one workout, and then half scoop.
We can make some interesting combinations, and we can do 1 scoop of this one with the 1 scoop of the other one, see what kind of flavor combinations we come up with that work well.
Yeah, because that's what I did when Alpha Line sent me they did that Australia benefit thing. They raised like $50,000 for that. That was pretty cool. Because they sent all their Superhuman Spring profits to all
the wildfires, right.
So that's what I did the first day I got them. I got them before Jordan from there was like, man, you got yours before I did. Like, so I took a half scoop of each just to sort of let people hear about the flavors when they were going to combine them. So that's what I've been doing with the Vandal too.
Cool. Awesome, man. I'm excited. Do you remember how because we both got to sample it back in July of last year or August of last year, around that time. Does it feel about the same, a little less intense, a little more intense?
No. And I guess I can say this now. I love Moody, but I did not like that pre-workout that he sent us a sample of. But also at the same time, what I told him why that was the formula is different now. And for me, I'm not good with, unless you have some really heavy stimulants, if you try to calm it down for me, it doesn't work. And so what I did was I also let my wife try it. My wife doesn't use stimulants very much. We had kind of the same experience where it was just too, and pun totally intended, but it was too moody for me. Because it just was, he was very in the head, and because he had Canna in there, which Canna can go a lot of ways for me. It can be very like, I'll go up and then down. And I'm kind of like in the middle of my sets and stuff, and I'm like, I don't like this. And she kind of went through the same thing, so I gave him my feedback about that. And I know he did change the formula up a little bit. This is much more steady, great energy with this one. It's a huge improvement for me over the sample that he did
previously.
Early in the year, I think the final product came out a lot better than that sample. for me.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good things to look forward to then. So I'll give that a go, I guess, tomorrow, unless I give the gray matter a shot, and we'll see. We'll start going through that. Either way, by next week I'll have some feedback to give you. So
cool, man. Yeah. Keep me posted. I'm sure we'll talk and start coming up with some flavor combinations.
Sounds good, man. Well then, thank you as always, and we'll be in touch as usual.
All right, brother.
All right.